been 2 years since the federal government launched the first home savings account, a tax-efficient method of investing funds to put toward a home purchase. Now, for those hopeful homeowners whose parents want to help them with buying that home, how and when should mom and dad give them some help to open the account? Joining us now is Georgia Swan, tax and estate planner with TD Wealth. Georgia, always great to chat with you on these topics.
I'm so glad to be back.
All right, it's a pretty good topic. Let's dig into it. Some of the benefits of a first home savings account, the FHSA. I don't even know why I went for the acronym there, but tell them, why are they an attractive option?
Well, they're actually really popular. Right off of the gate in that first year, there were 739,000 new first home savings accounts open with a total value of about $2.79 billion. So a lot of people are looking at them favorably, but basically any contributions reduce your taxable income, and then the amount in your first home savings account grows tax-free. And as long as when you withdraw it, you use it to purchase a qualifying first home, at that point, there won't be any tax consequences either. So what's there not to like about them? There are some conditions on them. You have an $8,000 per year contribution limit and a lifetime limit of $40,000. So you have to be careful about those things. But they've become such a great tool for parents to teach kids financial literacy and to get them started on that investing sort of stream, let's call it.
We do know in this current environment, with the price of homes being what they are, that more and more parents are helping their adult children get into that first home. When should they be thinking about giving that help?
Well, that's the biggest question. I mean, parents, of course, have to consider what's right for them, and a lot of times when parents are considering gifting, money to children for that first home, it becomes kind of that last minute thing. And parents then are scrambling to say, okay, where are we taking this money from? That can have serious financial issues to the parents. So a first home savings account can be opened for a child as soon as they become 18 years old. Now, whether that's the right time to immediately jump into opening them, that's a different story, because you have to use the funds from a first home savings account within 15 years of the anniversary date that it's open. So you do have a little bit of a time constraint there. So at 18, you have to consider if it has to be
Would they be ready by 32, 33 for that house? Yeah.
Exactly. And so you have to consider the timing. Maybe it might be something that you might want to open when the child is a little bit older.
I'm proud of myself for doing the math on the fly there. That's usually your job. You use the word gift there, but of course it can be structured. A gift, it can be a loan. I mean, what do you need to consider here?
So whenever parents are gifting money or giving money to their children, the first thing I ask them is you need to really articulate for yourself what this entails. A gift is a very specific thing in law. There has to be no expectation that you're going to get the money back. But a lot of times parents say to me, I want to give money, but there are certain circumstances under which I might want it back. Those are two different things. If, for example, it is a true gift, then you might want to back it up with something called a deed of gift. It goes by a couple of different names, but let's leave it at that. And that's basically a document which evidences who's gifting the money, who's getting it, how much it is, when the gift was made, etc. That can be an important piece of evidence, for example, for family law purposes if the child subsequently gets divorced, or creditor issues, or perhaps, family dynamic issues to show to other family members that this was indeed meant to be a gift. Now, if you do want to put some constraints, if you do want to eventually get the money back, that is a different story. That could be a situation where it is a loan, and then again, you should have evidence of that loan. So interest payments, when it has to be paid back, what terms, etc.
So you've decided you want to do it now. You touched on a few things there. Anything else you need to consider saying, okay, we're going to give you the money, son, daughter, but we need to think of a few things. Anything else on that checklist?
So aside from timing, aside from what the amount is, where it's coming from, how you're going to get it over there, you also have to really talk to the child. So times are changing. The dream of home ownership may not necessarily be what your child wants. And especially now when I talk to some of the younger generation, they have so much more of a global view. A lot of them because of remote work, want to live somewhere else and still, work in another country. So the question, I think, needs to be between the parents and the children, do they really have aspirations to at some point own a home? Sometimes, they're looking for a simpler life where they don't have the burden of home ownership.
It's an important one. Obviously, you always break these things down so clearly and nicely for us, but there's a lot going on here. Maybe a little discussion with an advisor could help along the way?
Absolutely, because we've only touched on not only the financial situation of the parents, does the child want the investment, how, once the money is in the first home savings account, should it be invested? So all of those should be explored with your financial advisor. And of course, if we do get into situations where the relationship of whether it's a gift or a loan comes into play, you're also going to want to speak to a lawyer then.
What's the one thing you want parents to consider when they're thinking about helping their kids with a first home savings account?
A conversation. You have to sit down with your children, with the advisors, think about the timing, think about the amounts, think about the when and the how, and then, once everybody is on the same page and has all of the knowledge they need, only then should you proceed.